Hello! On to page 2, which is a load of apps I have put on to briefly show you for your amusement. Oh dear. Sorry, I just had a horrible flashback to what the comments for this video must be like so far. I don't know what it is about the iPad. It seems to have really stirred up the dreaded fanboys, you know, those sort of strange people who get emotionally attached to electronic objects, as if they're members of their family or something. You've sort of got this hardcore on one side of people moaning and whining and screeching and gnashing their teeth because the iPad doesn't do exactly what they wanted it to, and then right over the other side of the spectrum you've got the apologists who are saying, well, yeah, but it doesn't have to run Flash, or you don't have to actually get things onto it, in sort of a desperate bid, I think, to justify the purchase of one to themselves, although they don't really need one. And right in the middle sit the normal people, which is you and I, gentle viewer. Unless, of course, you've stopped watching me now and have already written bizarre flame wars into the comments box. Oh, let's get on with it. Right, Amazon have launched their Kindle app. It sells eBooks, and it's got a silly name. Is it better than iBooks, is the question. Well, they've got a much, 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 much bigger library to choose from, to say the least. If we turn this on. Oh, I've just turned the lock off. That was clever. As you can see, the actual reading thing is just as pretty with the print on the page, although it doesn't have any of the nice page-turning animation gubbins. Also, I can't actually remember how you get the... there we go. Get back to the menu. Go back to home there. Let's turn it back here so we can see it properly. That's always nice, isn't it? That's a freebie one I found on Amazon. It's not anywhere near as nice to use as iBooks when you want to buy something, though, to say the least. Because iBooks has a nice integrated interface for doing it. Press shop in Kindle store and it takes you through to Safari, I believe. And you have to do it through the web-based front end, which isn't anywhere near as effective or nice, obviously. But, you know, it's not a massive problem. Maybe it'll be integrated one day soon. Maybe it won't. I don't particularly care, because it would do my eyes in. OK, an app I discovered called Free Books. Can you guess what this is? Go on, I'll bet you can. Oh, it doesn't spin for starters. Basically, it's just a load of books you can read for free, which is quite nice. What can we read? Fanny Hill, yay! That's the kind of thing we like. To start reading, select a collection up top, select a book on the left, then hit the big green button. Dum. OK, it's downloading. Or at least it's pretending to download. Yep, there it is. Can we just press it and read it now? Yeah, there we go. Easy enough. OK. Oh, what? You can't flick the pages over. You have to go through the thing at the bottom? That's rubbish. Oh, you double tap on it. There we are. And it flicks the pages up exactly like a book doesn't. Yes. Well, that's pleasing enough. I tell you what, actually, I think this sort of dark brown on lighter beige is probably easier on the eyes than the sort of dark brown and white that the others are using. But is it? I'm going to be honest with you, I think it would hurt my eyes to find out, so let's forget that. OK. Oop. Let's get back out, shall we? Right, what's next? Dropbox. I won't go into this one, it's there more to sort of make a point than anything. Dropbox is a service where you can copy files onto the internet and they store them for you, and you can look at them on various devices. It's remarkably useful of this because, as we mentioned earlier, it's so locked down. I mean, the only official ways to get things in and off the mighty iPad at the moment are to email them to yourself like a bloody caveman, or sync through iTunes. That's right, syncing documents through iTunes. That's about as much fun as it sounds. Also, iTunes will occasionally wipe all my music for no reason. I wouldn't want it to do that to my documents. Then again, maybe I'm just an idiot and I'm doing it wrong. Who knows? OK, Twitter clients. Twitterific, this one's called. It's the only free iPad one I could spot when I looked in 5 seconds. And there we are. You can look at tweets and make tweets. You all know how Twitter works. But this is a very, very nice way of looking at it. Very immediate. Oh. Well, I say that, but I think actually this has only worked once since I bought it. It just keeps coming up with a Twitter API error, even though Twitter seems to be working perfectly everywhere else. I don't know if that's a problem with the app, needs reinstalling, needs setting fire to, no idea. Perhaps I'm just unlucky. Now, we get into a bit more Twitterness with the original Twitter app for iPhone. Yes, iPhone, not iPad. For you see, it's about time to show you what the emulation of iPhone stuff on the iPad is like. The answer? Well, works perfectly, but you'll kind of wish it didn't. I thought that sounded fantastic at first. My goodness, you can use all the iPhone stuff and just zoom in, it'll be great, and, save yourself some money. Not really, because they're really horrible to use. Watch and learn. This here is the Twitter app. I don't know if you can make out, but the looming stuff is so blocky, it's unbelievable. I mean, all the fonts are literally just blown up 2 times. So they look absolutely horrible. Gary Coleman has slipped into a coma as on life support and so does that really happen? Oh no! Poor little Gary Coleman. Who'll ask us who Willis is talking about now? Deary me, I hope he's alright. Okay, you can also zoom out to original iPhone size. Because, yeah, you're going to be doing that all the time, aren't you? It just looks so monumentally horrible. It's unbelievable. Not great, that, really. So it will run all your iPhone apps lovely, but they all look so horrible. Now, I did wonder, actually, if running one of these 3D game apps, it would just sort of scale up the vectors and it'd all look much better. Let's have a look with Moto Racer, or Moto Chaser, or whatever it was called. I haven't played it for ages. I don't really like these games where you control by accelerometer. Right, first problem is, you can see it's not actually accelerated or anything, it's still a bit jerky. Let's have this man with a ridiculous hat, he'll do. Yeah, whatever. We're just making a point, get on with it. Also, you notice a weird flash on the screen there, I don't know if that's the app or not. I think it is actually, remembering back. Okay, thank you. 2 times. It's all jerky, it's just blown it up 2 times. Not a great experience. Never mind. It's odd because it all looks so much like an iPhone, you kind of expect it to just run the apps and they'll be beautiful, but no, with this you are spoiled by this giant nice screen, and when you go back to the old ones they look like a load of old poop. I'll tell you what, when you go back to an iPhone after using this, you discover that the main application of the iPad seems to be to make your iPhone feel like a ridiculous, cramped piece of shit. I mean, it really does. It's horrible. It's sort of, oh no, why everything goes close together? Why can't I do anything? Whereas you feel sort of restricted and weird from the freedom of the big thing here. So that's a bit of a shame, really, when you've bought something that makes something else expensive you've got not seem so good. But there we are. That's how our brains work. Okay, Xfeed, an RSS reader. You can now, as this says, read RSS feeds. Let's have a look what's in tech. Boing boing, Engadget, Lifehacker. Go on, Engadget. X2 comes as a clutch of elusive tablets for Computex, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's just a nice way of reading RSS feeds. I think if you pay money you can get better ones which have better offline caching, i.e. it will save the pages and things for you to look at later, which is incredibly important if you've got one of the ones without 3G. So if you're on the train and you want to have a quick look at your RSS feeds and you can't get a connection, that's not going to do you a lot of good. Anyway, what's up next? IMDb, it's an app for looking at the Internet Movie Database, not using the website. I'm not entirely sure why I put this on. It's not really interesting. Let's move on to Rush Hour Free, our first proper iPad game. It's one of these games where you have to get the red car out of the hole. I don't really like this sort of puzzle game, but, well, it's full screen and it was free. See, one problem I'm finding, especially when I was trying to get sort of free apps to show you on this, is that for the iPhone, a lot of things would have a light version. You know, something where you didn't have to pay any money and could try it out. That seems relatively rare for the iPad market. I don't know if it's because it's fairly new or what, or they just expect you to have millions and millions of pounds because you bought an iPad. Either way, bit of a shame, I think. It's always nice to try before you buy. Okay, let's get the red car out of the hole. You can go back. You can go down, you can go there, you can go there, you can go there. Wow! Because what's happened to him? Is he trapped in a burning car or something? Crikey. Anyway, that's that game. I'm pretty sure you'll all know how that one works. Next up is a slightly more interesting game called Harbormaster. Have you ever played that iPhone game? I think it's called Traffic Control, is it? Air Traffic Control, whatever, where you have to get your airplanes to land without crashing into each other. This is almost identical, except you get boats to unload and then leave. Let's have a quick look. Treasure Island, that'll do. Start. Go. There we are. It's like the other one, but on a much bigger screen. You can see where this is going, can't you? There we are. You can go in there, old son. You can go in there. Nope, he hasn't actually... Oh, he has to go to the other one. Fair enough. That's for big boats. That's for little boats. No, I can't tell what's going on here. Probably should have read the rules. But as you can see, it's on a bigger screen and it's a bit prettier. Not really showing off the iPad to its full effect, but never mind. What we got next, like DrawFree. Now this, I thought to myself, would be possibly a killer app of some type, using the iPad as a blooming graphics tablet. This is a very simple free drawing thing. Look, I have drawn an infinity symbol. Yeah, basically move your finger around. It's not particularly good, I must say, because it doesn't update often enough. If you do a nice slow line, it gets relatively smooth. If you do anything quickly, it's just a sort of series of jerky lines. I imagine that's more to do with the software than the hardware, to say the least. But, I don't know, I was expecting this to be absolutely fantastic. I thought if you could get a stylus, which will work on a capacitive touch screen, you can, you know, draw away to your heart's content and save a fortune on buying an expensive Wacom tablet or something. It doesn't quite seem to work like that. I did get a stylus for the iPhone, which I've now lost brilliantly, or I would show you. It's basically a stick with a bit of sponge on the end, and it kind of covers still quite a big area, and you can't quite see where you're drawing. I think maybe there's some getting used to. You could do some good art on this if you were so inclined, but until they come up with some sort of clever stylus replacement, you're not going to be using it for any sort of Wacom Cintiq replacement. Right, let's stop saying the word replacement too much and look at Guardian Eyewitness. So this is quite a nice idea. Basically, it shows you photos which in some way connect with what's going on in the news. Here we are, 28th May 2010. Frogs hop across the Egnatia Highway near the town of Langarda in Greece. The frogs migrate from a nearby lake looking for food. Marvellous. Frogs on the move. Also shows off how nice the screen is quite nicely. Can you zoom in? No, that is verboten. Ooh, what's going on here? Doesn't look good. At Amani Gia, a scavenger and one of her 11 children take a break from collecting recyclable plastic items at a rubbish dump in Medan, Maryland, North Sumatra, Indonesia. Crikey, that is remarkably grim. There's me holding some incredibly expensive piece of equipment, and there's somebody there trying to find some shoes. Lovely. And that's the world for us. Don't blame me, I didn't make it. Well, not much of it. Next. Let's forget the horrors of the third world by looking at some superhero comics. Hooray! I don't know, all the joy's been taken out now. Right, Marvel Comics. I'm not a massive fan of Marvel Comics superhero-y stuff, and that's what this is mostly about. But yeah, basically, you can buy comics and look at them on your iPad. Do you see where this is going? One thing I quite like, they seem to be relatively cheap, £1.19 each. I'm pretty sure they cost more than that in the shops. Considerably more, sort of over twice, in fact. So that's quite nice. And let's actually look at one. Where do we go? My Comics. I downloaded two. Let's look at an Iron Man from 1968. Dun, 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 dun. No, that's not very good, obviously. So, using the power of twitching around, you can do that. And yes, I could not see myself reading a sort of novel from the screen here, but I could certainly see myself reading a comic. It looks very, very, very nice. You can scroll through and use your eyes to see what's going on in the pictures and then fit the words to them as speech. Again, probably not a concept you're unfamiliar with. However, this has a really, really nice feature. Let me show you. They'll lock on again. Double tap on a panel. It then shows you just that panel. And as you slide along, it slides you down the page, enabling you to see all the bits individually. Obviously, this has to be specifically set up for each comic, but that's been done by Marvel, so no worries there. I would really like to see a proper CBZ viewer, I think, so I could look at whatever other comics are available. Doubtless there already is one, and I just haven't found it yet. Anyway, there's Iron Man punching something. Always a good note to end on, I find. Next, Tap Tap Radiation. It's another game. A bit like Tap Tap Revolution, which is kind of a rhythm game thing for the iPhone, if you haven't seen it. Let's move that back a bit so you can actually see the screen properly. That's always nice. New game. Oh dear, are these copyrighted? Let's take a risk, quickly. That one that features lions. Let's keep this as short as we can. Medium. Basically what happens is... come on. There we go. See those blobs? Other blobs come along. When the blobs touch, you press the thing. Right, that's enough of that before we get copyright problems. As you may notice, that's not really a very good rhythm game. It's sort of very basic and not much fun. But to be perfectly honest, I'm not a fan of rhythm games anyway, so perhaps I'm not the person to describe it to you. But I just did, and I didn't like it, so take note. Right, next up is a picture of Alfred Hitchcock in silhouette. I don't know either, because when you press on it, it's a calculator. Just an interesting little toy calculator. What is 24 divided by 12? I've always wondered. Turns out it's 2. Amazing. Whatever would I have done without this? Now, the elephant in the room here is obviously the gigantic knob. Pull it down, and you get to play Break It. It's like Breakout, only the same. I think I missed the ball there. Very poor show. There we go. And then you can flick it back up when your boss comes and you've got a pretend calculator. I can't imagine your boss would be particularly impressed with a pretend calculator, but there we go. My Face Sol, another game freebie I found. It's sort of a 3D version of Solitaire, where you can use photographs for various royal members of the card family. I didn't like it much, to be honest. The card edges are quite rough and ugly, but the real problem is every time you move a card, it does that really annoying flip. Every time. That gets old really fast. But, you know, it's a competent enough version of Solitaire. An excellent use for a touchscreen Solitaire as well. Crazy Tank's Light. I didn't press it right and it moved. Let's try that again. Hooray! Right. Get on with it. Here we go. Warning. Game that uses accelerometers for control. Warning. Right. New game. Easy. I'm trying to view this through the viewfinder of a camera. That's not particularly easy at the best of times. Basically, you have a little tank. Wibble your iPad to move it. Oh, and then shoot yourself like that. Touch the iPad to shoot. To be brutally honest, I think I've violently hated almost every game I've ever played that used the accelerometer, and this isn't really much of an exception, I must say. It is very, very fast and fluid, though, so that's always in its favour, but you've got to get used to the controls with that blighter, I think, and I don't have the patience, because I'm an evil old man. The next one is purely on for humorous purposes. Vegas Light. This is almost unbelievably bad. It's a pool game, but really badly put together. Resume. Right. Notice that the balls seem to have been knocked together out of balsa wood by somebody with very bad hands. Try moving the table around, jerks like a freaky thing and you can't see what you're doing. That 15's backwards, that's never a good start, is it? I wonder if that changes actually if I move it up there. No, is the answer to that. Fair enough. Oh, knocked it at the wrong time. There we go. Okay, hit that ball. Hit that ball. There we are. The ball's moved quite nicely, I suppose. But overall... Ugh! Genuinely frightened by a terrifying standard poser model that's come up in the corner there. I will eat your soul! Terrifying. Yeah, anyway, this is quite a nasty, very rushed version of a game. Vegas Pool Sharks like to, when it pays up to 3 points, buy full version for more game. I think I'd possibly pay an amount of money not to play that again. It's very, very bad. Sort it out, people. Now, here's something very, very good. Again, this is a light version of Summit, called 10-Pin Shuffle. And it's a sort of strange cross between bowling and poker. But my word, it works really nicely on a large touchscreen. Player versus iPad, I should play Papa Poker Face. And I'll probably be really bad at this looking through the viewfinder. Yes, I will. The physics are absolutely beautiful. And really helps to give the sort of game a sense of depth and purpose. For some reason, you get 2 cards for performing a strike, 1 card for a spare, and then at the end, whoever's got the highest poker hand wins. And obviously, the more cards you get, the better, because then you get to throw the rubbish ones away and make yourself a good hand. Go on, have another quick go. This is really good fun, this. Often these bowling games on the computer tend to be a bit sort of, well, dull, really, because you've got no kind of tactile information to make you feel what you're doing, but the large touchscreen really helps with that. Oh, I missed it. Don't want to play any more now. Humph. Now that's good, that one. In stark contrast to Vegas Light. Right, air guitar. Just a toy. I have no guitar experience, so it means very little to me, but basically it's like a guitar, only on your iPad. And you apparently make proper chords. I don't know any chords, so I'll just... Nice. One weakness to it, though, the sound effects they're using for the guitar, obviously, make an awful lot of nasty hissing. They're not particularly high quality. If you're using it through headphones, it's awful, actually. Not too bad if you're somewhere relatively noisy, but if you're doing it in a quiet room, it's hiss, and the hiss stops. You can probably hear it over the camera. There we go. There we go. It means nothing to me, not being a guitar-y type, but that's been very popular with guitar-liking people that I've shown the iPad to. Because as you're probably aware, the main purpose of an iPad is to show everybody else and say, I've got an iPad. And it's been very good at that so far. Right, I've accidentally gone into that again. Out we go. That is the lot of those.